Minnesota is known for its pristine waters and serene wilderness, but beneath the surface of some of its lakes lies a chilling history. Shadows linger where the sun once shone, whispers echo across the still water at night, and travelers speak of sudden drops in temperature, eerie lights, and figures that vanish when approached. These are not just lakes, they are portals into stories that will make your skin crawl. Tonight, we journey into the depths of terror as we explore the most haunted lakes in Minnesota, places where legends, tragedies, and the unexplained intertwine into tales of pure horror. Minnesota's lakes have long drawn people for their beauty, fishing, and peaceful retreats. Yet, not every lake invites serenity. Many harbor dark pasts of drownings, mysterious disappearances, and tragic accidents that left souls trapped, refusing to move on. Locals whisper about strange sounds in the night, mist rising in unnatural shapes, and ghostly apparitions gliding over the water. Visitors have reported feeling watched, sudden chills, and even seeing figures reaching out from the depths. As we uncover the chilling tales behind 20 of Minnesota's most haunted lakes, prepare yourself for a journey that blends history, legend, and the paranormal. From hidden forest lakes to well-known destinations, these waters have witnessed more than just Naturia's beauty, they have witnessed despair, sorrow, and terror. Before we dive in, let me ask you if you were alone at night on a foggy lake and saw a shadowy figure in the water, would you investigate or run? Let me know in the comments below. Your story might even become part of this haunted narrative. Lake Minnetonka stretches across the horizon, its waters glimmering under the fading light of day. By morning, the lake appears serene, inviting, a perfect reflection of the surrounding trees and cottages. But as night falls, a different energy seems to settle over the water, one that is quiet yet profoundly unsettling, as though the lake remembers a past that is never far from the present. Once, the shores of Lake Minnetonka were alive with laughter and activity. Families gathered at resorts and boathouses, children ran along the docks, and music from pavilions carried across the water. Those days are long gone, but remnants of that past linger in ways that cannot be explained. Visitors who walk along the shoreline after dark often hear faint laughter, high-pitched and fleeting, echoing as if from nowhere. The sounds are distinct yet ephemeral, fading when approached, leaving only the stillness of the lake and the rustle of wind through the trees. Shadows flit across the docks and among the empty boathouses. Some appear just at the edge of vision, moving quickly and disappearing before they can be fully seen. Shapes that resemble children dart between the pilings or along the water's edge, and a visitor's mind struggles to reconcile the emptiness of the scene with the movement they perceive. The lake seems alive with these memories, as though the energy of those long-gone summer days has taken on a life of its own. Those who wade into the shallow waters at night often report unusual sensations. Some feel a tug at their ankles, subtle at first, then more insistent, as if unseen hands are reaching up from beneath the surface. The feeling is fleeting, impossible to grasp, yet vivid enough to send a shiver up the spine. Even when accompanied by friends, the experience can feel intensely personal, a reminder that the lake holds secrets that are not meant for the living to fully understand. The shoreline itself seems to respond to the presence of visitors. Gentle waves lap with a quiet insistence, and the reflection of moonlight on the water can appear distorted, forming shapes that vanish when closely examined. A single dock may seem longer at night than it does by day, or a shadow might stretch across the water as though reaching for the approaching figure. Every movement of the trees, every whisper of wind carries an eerie rhythm, a silent accompaniment to the unseen chorus of past lives. Many local legends speak of children who drowned in the lake long ago, their spirits never fully leaving the area. Others claim that during harsh winters, when the ice covers the water, faint footsteps are heard on its surface, moving in patterns that make no sense. These stories are passed down quietly, often shared in hushed tones, and they have shaped a reputation that keeps some away and draws others closer, seeking to experience the inexplicable for themselves. Photographs taken at night sometimes reveal oddities. Orbs of light hover above the water. Or faint shapes appear near docks where no one stands. Some visitors have captured images showing small, indistinct figures darting just beyond the edge of the frame. Cameras and other electronics occasionally act unpredictably. With batteries draining quickly or devices failing to function properly, adding a layer of mystery that further enforces the Lockheed's reputation. The sensation of being watched is common. Standing on the docks or near the water, visitors describe a quiet awareness. As if unseen eyes follow their movements. It is never threatening in an overt sense. Yet it evokes a deep, instinctual unease. The lake feels alive in ways that are both beautiful and unsettling. A place where the boundary between the living and the departed seems tenuous and permeable. Even during summer nights, when the air is warm and calm, the lake holds its secrets. The distant sounds of water lapping against the shoreline, the rustle of leaves in the breeze, and the occasional cry of a bird contribute to an atmosphere of heightened perception. Shadows twist and stretch in ways that seem unnatural. And the faint laughter or calls from nowhere remind visitors that the lake carries memories, echoes of a time when it was alive with human joy and tragedy alike. Many return home with stories of glimpses and sensations that cannot be explained. They speak of small hands tugging at their ankles, fleeting shapes darting across the water, and laughter that seems impossibly close and yet always just out of reach. Each encounter adds to the growing tapestry of lore surrounding Lake Minnetonka, a tapestry woven from the echoes of those who once played along its shores and the mysteries that persist beneath its calm surface. Lake Minnetonka is more than a body of water. It is a place where the past quietly intertwines with the present. Visitors leave with the memory of unseen presences. The sense of being touched by something beyond comprehension. And the haunting realization that the lake's shores are never truly empty. Night after night, the laughter continues. The shadows move. And the water holds its stories, waiting for those brave enough to come close and listen. Lake Calhoun stretches quietly under the evening sky, its surface reflecting the fading light and the darkening clouds above. By day, it is a place of calm beauty, where families stroll along the shore and boats glide lazily across the water. Yet beneath this serene exterior lies a history marked by tragedy and unexplained events that continue to haunt the area. Decades ago, a series of drownings occurred here under circumstances that locals still describe as mysterious. The events shook the community, leaving behind sorrow and unanswered questions. Since that time, stories have emerged of strange occurrences on the lake, tales passed from generation to generation, each adding to the aura of unease that seems to linger over the waters. On quiet nights, when the wind is still and the lake mirrors the stars above. The sound is soft at first, like a stone skipping across the surface. Then grows more pronounced as if someone or something is struggling beneath the waves. Yet when anyone approaches, the lake remains perfectly calm, its dark waters hiding any evidence of disturbance. Some witnesses have seen ripples forming where no one is swimming. Patterns moving across the water as if invisible hands are pushing against the surface. These ripples rise and fall, catching the moonlight. In strange ways that make the lake seem alive, as if it carries memory and presence within its depths. The phenomenon is fleeting, gone before anyone can get close. Leaving only a sense of disquiet and wonder. Others have reported seeing phantom boats gliding silently across the lake. They appear suddenly, outlines of wooden hulls moving in perfect stillness. No paddles dip into the lake, no engine hum breaks the night. Yet the boats are there for a fleeting moment, a visual echo of lives once present and now absent. The shoreline itself seems to hold an awareness of the past. Mist often rolls in from the water, hugging the banks and drifting into the trees, thickening the air with a sense of quiet suspense. The fog carries the faint scent of earth and water, and the sounds of the night are amplified, every rustle of leaves or snapping twig echoing across the stillness. The atmosphere is both inviting and foreboding, drawing visitors closer while warning them to remain wary. Those who linger along the lake report an uncanny sensation of being watched. It is not a gaze they can see but a presence they feel pressing softly against the mind and skin. The feeling grows stronger near areas where the drownings occurred, a subtle pull that seems to emerge from the lake itself. Some have claimed to hear whispered voices just beyond hearing, soft murmurs carried on the wind that vanish when one tries to listen more closely. Stories of apparitions are common around Lake Calhoun. Shadows moving along the water's edge, figures standing silently on the banks, and fleeting glimpses of people in the distance who disappear when approached all contribute to the eerie reputation. These figures are rarely threatening, but their presence carries a weight of sadness and unfinished business that makes the air heavy with emotion. Fishing piers and docks often become the center of unexplained activity. Boards creak under invisible steps, lights flicker unexpectedly, and the reflection of movement in the water sometimes suggests more than mere ripples. Visitors who pause to watch may notice shapes under the surface that vanish the moment they focus, leaving only the sensation that the lake is hiding secrets too deep to understand. Even during the day, some areas of the lake feel different. The waters near certain coves are darker, colder, and unnervingly still. People report a feeling of unease when approaching these spots, a tension that tightens the chest and makes one turn back before reaching the edge. The history of loss here seems to have seeped into the very environment, coloring the experience of every visitor with a shadow of the past. Local legends speak of those who disappeared. And the lake has become a silent memorial to their memory. Some claim that the phantom boats are echoes of those lost, forever traveling across the water in search of return. The splashes and ripples are interpreted as attempts at communication. Expressions of presence from beyond the natural world. The lake, calm on the surface, becomes a stage for encounters that defy ordinary explanation. For those brave enough to venture here at night, the experience can be profound. The combination of still water, dense mist, and quiet surroundings amplifies every sound in sight. A sudden splash, a moving shadow, or the sight of ripples forming for no reason evokes both fear and fascination. Every element contributes to a sense that Lake Calhoun is alive with memory, a living space where the past and present intertwine. Despite the eerie experiences, the lake continues to attract visitors. People come to walk the shoreline, fish, or simply sit in quiet reflection. For many, the allure of Lake Calhoun lies in its mystery, the tension between natural beauty and the sense of unseen presence. It is a place where the ordinary and the extraordinary meet. Where still waters conceal stories that are never fully told. And where the human imagination interacts with experiences that defy explanation. Lake Calhoun stands as a reminder that nature can hold both serenity and suspense. Its waters reflect the sky, yet beneath the surface lies a depth of history and mystery that continues to captivate those who visit. Every ripple, every whisper of wind, and every fleeting shadow serves as a testament to the past. And to the enduring presence of those who remain within its quiet expanse. For anyone who crosses its shores at night, the lake is both a place of reflection and an encounter with the unexplained. It is a space where time seems to slow, where the boundary between what is seen and what is sensed becomes blurred. And where the stories of those who were lost continue to ripple across the still waters. Lake Calhoun endures as a silent witness to tragedy, mystery, and the haunting beauty of the unknown. Lake Harriet sits quietly in the heart of a bustling city. Its waters reflecting the golden hues of sunset. And the gentle rustle of trees along its shores. By day, the lake is a haven of tranquility. Frequented by families, joggers, and those seeking a moment of peace. The boardwalk stretches along the water, inviting visitors to stroll, to pause, and to enjoy the calm embrace of the natural landscape. But as night falls, the atmosphere changes, taking on a quality that is at once serene and deeply unsettling. Those who visit after dark speak of shadows that move where none should be. Figures appear along the boardwalk, sometimes gliding silently above the planks, other times lingering just at the edge of the trees. One figure is said to be a woman dressed in white, her presence both sorrowful and persistent. She searches endlessly along the water's edge, as though seeking something she cannot find, her gaze fixed on the horizon yet never truly seeing the living world around her. Local legend claims she is a mother, forever bound to the lake by the loss of her child. Stories tell of a child who disappeared years ago, swept away in a moment of misfortune. Witnesses say she moves with a careful grace, her steps light and deliberate, following invisible paths that only she can perceive. When approached, she vanishes like mist, leaving behind only the faint scent of flowers and the chill of air that seems colder than it should be. The boardwalk itself becomes a stage for these encounters. Visitors report sudden drops in temperature as they walk. A subtle but persistent cold that raises goosebumps along their skin. And the gentle lapping of the lake seems to take on an almost musical quality. A cadence that is at once hypnotic and eerie. Even the wind through the trees feels directed. Sightings are not limited to the woman in white. Some describe ghostly children playing near the water, their laughter faint and hollow, echoing across the surface of the lake. Shadows dart between trees, never fully forming, yet leaving a sense of movement and life where none exists. Objects sometimes appear displaced along the boardwalk, as though nudged by an invisible hand. A discarded blanket, a fallen branch, a single shoe, each item a silent witness to the presence that inhabits the area. Many who have encountered the woman in white describe a profound sense of empathy and sorrow. She is not threatening in the conventional sense, yet her grief radiates, filling the space around her with a tangible weight. Some feel compelled to speak, to call her name, or to offer comfort, but she remains distant, always searching, always beyond reach. The experience leaves a lingering emotional imprint, a memory of sadness intertwined with the beauty of the lake at night. The lake's reflections play a subtle role in the haunting. Moonlight glimmers across the water, illuminating shapes that appear fleetingly before disappearing beneath the surface. Mist rises from the lake in uneven wisps, moving like smoke across the boardwalk. Witnesses say the mist often coalesces around the figure of the woman in white, creating the illusion of a halo, or perhaps revealing the sorrow that binds her to this place. The visual effect is ethereal, almost dreamlike, yet undeniably rooted in the strange and unexplained. Even routine visits to Lake Harriet after dark can leave a lasting impression. Joggers, walkers, and fishermen recount the sense of being watched. A subtle tension that grows as shadows lengthen and darkness spreads across the water. Some experience moments of vertigo, the world seeming slightly altered. As if the lake itself has shifted to accommodate the presence of something not entirely of this world. The ordinary sounds of the city fade, replaced by the soft rustling of leaves. The gentle splash of water, and the faint, distant echo of footsteps that do not belong to the living. Local lore reinforces these experiences. Stories are shared quietly, passed from resident to resident, growing in richness with each retelling. The woman in white has become part of the lake's identity, a guardian of memory and loss. Her presence serves as a reminder of impermanence, of lives disrupted and sorrow left unresolved. She embodies both fear and compassion, a haunting that is as much emotional as it is spectral. Lake Harriet remains a place of beauty and mystery. During the day, it offers serenity, a place to relax and reflect. At night, it transforms into a liminal space, where the ordinary world meets the echoes of the past. Those who walk the boardwalk after dark carry the memory of what they encounter, whether it is the sorrowful figure searching endlessly for her child, ghostly children playing along the water, or the whisper of movement among the trees. For anyone who crosses the boardwalk at night, Lake Harriet is more than a simple lake. It is a witness to grief, a repository of memory. And a place where the veil between the living and the unseen grows thin. A reminder that some presences linger long after the world around them has moved on, waiting patiently along the water's edge. Lake of the Isles, with its serene waters and lush surroundings, presents a picture of tranquility that has drawn visitors for generations. Gentle breezes ripple across the surface, reflecting the silhouettes of towering trees and the soft glow of the sun as it rises or sets. Yet beneath this calm exterior, the lake conceals a chilling secret. Long ago, a grand mansion once stood on the banks, a place of wealth, elegance, and whispered tragedies. Though the mansion has long since vanished, its presence is said to linger, etched into the very fabric of the land. Those who visit after dusk often feel a distinct shift in atmosphere, a subtle tension that moves through the air like a hidden current beneath the surface of the lake. Sightings of apparitions have become part of local lore. Visitors describe figures gliding silently across the water, their movements fluid and otherworldly. A trail of cold mist follows in their wake, chilling the air and sending shivers down the spine. These apparitions appear most often on nights when the fog rolls in, merging with the natural haze to create an almost dreamlike landscape, beautiful yet undeniably eerie. The lake's surface itself seems to hold echoes of the past. Reflections ripple not only from wind or movement, but sometimes from the presence of figures that vanish when approached. Shadows stretch and distort across the water, forming shapes that seem fleetingly human. The quiet of the evening is punctuated by subtle, inexplicable sounds. The soft creak of wood, the gentle splash of water, or the faint echo of footsteps on unseen shorelines. Local stories speak of the mansione's original residents, whose lives were intertwined with both fortune and misfortune. Some say that unresolved grief or sudden deaths anchored their spirits to the lake, preventing them from moving on. These figures are often described as appearing in formal attire, drifting across the water as though attending an invisible gathering. Their expressions are solemn, eyes fixed on places or people unknown, as if replaying memories that no living observer can fully comprehend. Visitors who linger near the shore often report a sensation of being watched, even when no one is visible. The air grows colder, denser, and the sound of the wind seems to carry whispers that vanish when one strains to hear clearly. Some have felt subtle touches, as if a hand brushed past their arm, though no one is there. The lake appears to respond to human presence, heightening the sense that it is alive with hidden eyes and silent observers. On particularly still nights, the apparitions' presence can be more pronounced. Figures glide along the lake as if suspended between worlds, their misty forms illuminating faintly in the moonlight. Water ripples around them without reason, leaving wakes that shimmer and vanish. The phenomenon is described as hypnotic, both beautiful and unsettling, leaving witnesses torn between fascination and fear. The environment itself seems to amplify every sound, every breath, every heartbeat, transforming the familiar landscape into something extraordinary and unknowable. The legends of Lake of the Isles also include accounts of sudden fogs that roll in from the surrounding woods. Enveloping the water and shoreline in thick, cold mist. Within these mists, observers have glimpsed figures at impossible angles, appearing and disappearing with the shifting fog. Birds fall silent, and nocturnal wildlife seems to retreat, leaving the area eerily still, as though nature itself respects the boundary between the living and the departed. Boaters and kayakers have shared stories of encountering apparitions on the water. Calm paddles can become heavy with resistance, as if the spirits of the past are subtly interacting with the present. Reflections of phantom forms shimmer on the water, yet when turned toward directly, the shapes dissolve. Some describe feeling sudden, unexplained drops in temperature, breaths turning to mist, and a sense that the lake's surface is a thin veil separating two realities. Even from the surrounding paths and benches, the trails leading to the water's edge seem, while amplifying the haunting atmosphere. The interplay between light, shadow and mist, making each visit a deeply immersive experience. Despite the chilling encounters, the lake remains a place of fascination and quiet beauty. Visitors are drawn by both the serene scenery and the haunting allure of the apparitions. Each story adds to the Lochia's mystique, blending history, legend, and personal experience into a tapestry that ensures Lake of the Isles remains unforgettable. The presence of the past is palpable, lingering in the mist, the water, and the air itself. Observers leave with the sensation that the lake holds memories and spirits just beneath its surface, guardians of a history both beautiful and tragic. In the quiet of evening, the apparitions glide across the water, a solemn procession of the past, leaving trails of cold mist that mark the invisible boundary between then and now. Lake of the Isles endures as a testament to the way beauty and mystery can coexist. Its waters reflect not only the surrounding landscape, but also echoes of lives once lived, memories that refuse to fade, and spirits that continue to drift across the surface in silent vigil. For those who witness the phenomenon, the lake becomes more than a scenic destination. It becomes a doorway into the unseen. A place where the extraordinary quietly permeates the ordinary. Every visit offers the chance to experience the lake's haunting presence firsthand. The subtle chills, the shifting mists, and the ghostly figures create an atmosphere that is immersive, captivating, and profoundly mysterious. Lake of the Isles stands as both a natural wonder and a repository of lingering spirits. An enduring intersection of history, legend, and the supernatural that leaves a lasting impression on all who venture to its shores. White Bear Lake lies quietly among the trees, its waters reflecting the pale glow of the morning sun. By day, the lake seems inviting, calm, and familiar, a place for fishing, boating, and quiet contemplation. Yet beneath its placid surface, whispers of the past linger, carrying a weight that draws the curious and unsettles the wary. Local legend speaks of a man who drowned in the lake long ago, his life claimed by a sudden accident or perhaps by misfortune that no one can fully explain. Those who venture onto the waters after dusk have reported strange occurrences. A sudden fog can roll in without warning, thick and disorienting, hiding the shoreline and confusing even the most experienced boaters. In this mist, it feels as if the lake itself is alive, guiding vessels off course, separating them from safety, and drawing them deeper into its secrets. The shoreline carries an air of expectancy. Trees lean over the water as if peering into the depths, their branches scratching softly in the wind. Rocks and reeds ordinary by day take on strange shapes at night. Shadows stretch unnaturally across the shore, moving with a life of their own. Visitors speak of sudden chills that descend without explanation. The kind that makes the hair on the back of the neck stand on end. And a quiet awareness that something unseen is watching every movement. Boaters describe the sensation of being subtly pulled in directions they did not intend to go. Paddles move heavier than expected, rudders shift inexplicably. And the water itself seems to push back, guiding them toward areas they would normally avoid. Many have reported seeing a lone figure standing near the water, faint and indistinct, disappearing when approached. The presence feels restless, lingering, as though tethered between the world of the living and the realm below the Lochia's surface. Some nights, visitors hear whispers carried on the wind, faint words that vanish when one tries to focus. At times, these sounds resemble the voice of a man calling for help, yet the words are unintelligible, a language lost to time, or perhaps a sound meant to be felt rather than understood. It is in these moments that the lake asserts its reputation, reminding all who enter that the past is never fully gone and that some spirits do not rest. The fog on White Bear Lake moves with an uncanny intelligence, rising and falling, curling around boats and docks, making familiar landmarks appear strange and unfamiliar. Lights from nearby buildings can appear distorted, and reflections on the water shimmer as if the lake itself is breathing. Those who have experienced this phenomenon describe a disorientation that is both physical and psychological, a feeling that the lake exists in a space slightly out of phase with reality. Witnesses on the shore have seen shapes skimming across the water, fleeting silhouettes that vanish when approached. At times, the figure resembles the drowned man, standing motionless, watching silently from the surface. At other times, the shadows seem to move independently, darting across the water or blending into the fog. The lake becomes a stage for these apparitions, and anyone who lingers too long feels the weight of the past pressing close. Even in daylight, White Bear Lake retains a subtle eeriness. A sudden gust of wind can shift the water unnaturally. A cloud can darken the sun in an instant. And an ordinary ripple can seem like a hand brushing against the hull of a boat. Those who are sensitive to the environment speak of a tension in the air. A feeling that the lake remembers everything that has happened upon it. And that it is capable of conveying those memories to those willing to listen. Stories passed down among locals describe narrow escapes, encounters with strange lights, and the sensation of being followed along the shoreline. Some claim that when a boat drifts too close to the center of the lake at night, a shadowy figure reaches out, tugging at ropes or the edges of the vessel. These tales, told in hushed tones, are part of the enduring legend that has kept some away from the waters after sunset and drawn others toward them, driven by curiosity and the desire to witness the unexplained. The legend of White Bear Lake is not merely one of a single spirit, but of a presence that permeates the water and the shore. A haunting reminder of life interrupted and stories left unfinished. It is a place where the boundary between the living and the departed is thin. And where the quiet lapping of the waves carries echoes from a distant past. To visit the lake at night is to step into a realm shaped by memory, loss, and the unshakable feeling that something watches just beneath the surface. Waiting for recognition. White Bear Lake remains a site of mystery, its placid waters concealing history and haunting alike. The fog, the shadows, the sudden chills, and the inexplicable pulls of the current all contribute to an experience that lingers long after visitors have left. It is a place where stories come alive, where the past meets the present, and where a drowned man's restless spirit continues to drift, shaping the lake into a realm both beautiful and unnervingly alive. Lake Superior stretches endlessly along the Minnesota shoreline, its vast waters glittering under the sun and crashing against cliffs with relentless power. By day, the lake presents a majestic panorama of sparkling waves, rugged rock formations, and endless horizons. Yet beneath its natural beauty, certain coves and inlets hold a darker story, a legacy carved by the storms and tragedies of the past. Decades ago, numerous ships met their fate along this shoreline. Sudden storms, treacherous rocks, and shifting currents claimed vessels and the lives of those aboard. Today, the memories of these lost ships and sailors linger, carried on the wind and whispered by the waves. Visitors to these areas often speak of strange occurrences, moments when the ordinary laws of nature seem to bend to something unseen. On quiet evenings, when the sun dips below the horizon and the lake reflects the amber glow of twilight. Some people report hearing distant horn blasts. The sound echoes across the water, deep and mournful. Yet no ships sail the waves. The blasts carry a haunting resonance, as if vessels long vanished are replaying the final moments of their struggle against the lake. Those who pause to listen describe a chill that rises along their spine, an unshakable feeling that the past is present in the very air around them. Cliffs and rocky shores hold their own tales of unease. Shadowy figures have been seen moving along the rocks. Sailors in faded uniforms wandering aimlessly as if searching for something lost long ago. These apparitions appear briefly, emerging from the mist or fog. Or fog that often drifts in from the lake. Only to vanish when approached. The phenomenon leaves witnesses questioning their senses. Caught between awe and apprehension at the mystery before them. The shoreline itself amplifies the eeriness. Waves crash against jagged rocks with a rhythm that sometimes mimics the cadence of marching feet. The wind whistles through the cliffs, carrying murmurs that sound almost like voices speaking in the distance. Some hikers and campers have reported hearing footsteps behind them on paths that are otherwise empty. Or the faint creak of rigging as though unseen ships are anchored just beyond the horizon. Fog frequently rolls in from the lake, cloaking the coves in a thick, white shroud. Within the mist, the landscape transforms into a realm where shadows stretch unnaturally and familiar shapes become strange. Visitors moving through these fog-laden coves sometimes catch glimpses of figures standing motionless on rocks or along the shoreline, staring out across the water. The figures dissolve into the haze when approached, leaving only the echo of their presence and the unsettling sense that something watches from beyond. The unsettling sense that something watches from beyond. Even during daylight, some areas feel different. The water near certain inlets is darker, colder, and almost unnervingly still. A sudden drop in temperature is often reported, a reminder of the Lakia's unpredictable temperament. The cliffs cast long, sharp shadows across the water, hiding pockets where the lake keeps its secrets. People standing near the edge often feel the weight of history pressing in, a reminder of the countless lives claimed by the relentless waters. Locals tell stories of those who vanished, sailors lost to storms or accidents that never left a trace. The lake has become a silent witness to their fate, and many believe that the spirits of these mariners linger, forever connected to the waters that claimed them. Some claim that the horn blasts are attempts at communication, echoes of warnings that can no longer be heeded. Others interpret the shadowy sailors as guardians of forgotten shipwrecks, or restless souls searching for the final piece of a story left unfinished. Visitors who brave the shoreline at night often describe the experience as both humbling and terrifying. The combination of the lake's vastness, the rocky cliffs, and the sounds carried on the wind creates a cinematic sense of suspense. Every splash of a wave, every whisper of the wind, and every distant horn blast contributes to a feeling that the lake is alive with memory. It is a place where the boundary between the present and the past feels fragile, where human presence is fleeting against the vastness of nature and history. Even from a distance, Lake Superiora's shoreline conveys a powerful sense of majesty and danger. The waves, cliffs, and mist become a stage for encounters that feel both real and otherworldly. For those who walk its beaches, hike its trails, or explore its rocky coves, the lake offers a connection to stories of courage, loss, and lingering presence. It is a place where the natural world and the supernatural intersect, leaving an impression that stays long after the visitor has departed. The Minnesota shoreline of Lake Superior remains a realm of mystery and wonder, where the echoes of shipwrecks reverberate through time, where shadowy figures wander the cliffs, and where the elements themselves seem infused with memory. Every ripple on the water, every distant horn blast, and every mist-shrouded rock carries a reminder of the lake's enduring power, and the haunting legacy of those who were lost to its depths. For anyone who ventures here, the experience is unforgettable. Lake Superior commands respect and inspires reflection, offering beauty intertwined with the echoes of history. It is a place of stories, mystery, and subtle encounters with the unknown. The Lakia's vastness hides many secrets, and those who explore its shoreline often leave with the sense that they have glimpsed something that exists beyond the ordinary. A reminder that some spirits remain tied to the waters they once sailed. Leech Lake rests quietly amid dense forests and rolling hills, its dark waters stretching wide under the open sky. The surface is often still, reflecting the trees and clouds with a calm serenity, yet beneath that placid exterior, locals and travelers alike speak of a history steeped in tragedy and mystery. The Lakia's name carries an uneasy weight, whispered in connection with drownings, disappearances, and encounters that defy simple explanation. The origins of its eerie reputation reach far back. Tales tell of indigenous spirits who linger near the water, guardians of the land, observing the living with patient eyes. Travelers report sightings of shadowy figures moving across the surface of the lake in early morning mist, their forms fleeting and ethereal. When approached, the shapes vanish, leaving only a damp chill in the air and a lingering sense that something unseen has been present. Those who venture along the lake at night describe a profound silence that is almost unnatural. The usual sounds of water lapping against the shore, the call of distant wildlife, seem muted, absorbed by the darkness. Footsteps along the banks sometimes echo with a hollow resonance, though no one else is there. Mist drifts low across the water, curling around trees and hiding shapes that vanish the moment they are fully seen. Visitors have reported glimpsing figures of lost travelers, perhaps those who never made it safely across the lake. These apparitions appear briefly, sometimes sitting along the shore or walking slowly through the fog. Their outlines indistinct, faces obscured, as if they carry with them the weight of untold stories. Memories frozen in a moment they cannot leave, as a sense of sorrow clings to these apparitions. The indigenous spirits are said to be different in their presence. Observers describe them as watchful, almost protective, yet undeniably otherworldly. They do not move like humans, but glide above the surface or through the mist with a grace that is unsettling in its perfection. Some feel their gaze, heavy and insistent, following each step along the shoreline. It is not a gaze of threat, but one of attention, as if the spirits are remembering those who trespass in the place they have long guarded. Many who have spent time at Leech Lake at twilight or in the dead of night speak of sudden chills that run across the skin, moments when the temperature drops sharply without warning. The mist seems to thicken, the water taking on a darker hue, reflecting the world in a way that is both familiar and strange. Sounds of water moving beneath the surface are amplified, carrying a subtle rhythm that some describe as almost like heartbeat, connecting the lake to something larger and unseen. Some accounts are more physical in nature. Boats moored along the banks have been found slightly displaced from where they were left. Footprints appear in soft mud that cannot be explained by wildlife. And personal items vanish, only to reappear days later in places they could not have reached. Those who experience these phenomena often leave with an undeniable sense that the lake itself is aware, its waters a mirror for forces both ancient and unknowable. The stories of drownings persist through generations. Some attribute them to natural causes, accidents in fog or swift currents. Yet the repetition of such events feeds the legend. It is said that the lake remembers those who have fallen, calling them back in echoes of shadow and mist. Visitors often feel that the water is watching, that each ripple carries memory, and that approaching the center of the lake without respect invites the unseen to reveal itself. Even in daylight, the lake holds an air of suspense. Mist can rise unexpectedly, obscuring the far shore, creating the illusion of shapes moving just beyond sight. Sounds of splashing or movement are sometimes reported, even when no one is in the water. Trees along the bank seem to sway with intention, casting shadows that shift unnaturally with the sun's movement. All of this contributes to the sense that Leech Lake is alive in ways that defy explanation, a place where the boundaries between past and present, living and departed, are thin. Those who venture to the lake often describe a mixed feeling of awe and trepidation. The beauty of the waters, the forested banks, and the peaceful reflections at sunset are undeniable. Yet the stories, the experiences, and the lingering presence of spirits create a tension that cannot be ignored. Some leave quickly, respecting the warnings whispered in local tales. Others linger, drawn by curiosity or fascination, but none come away unchanged. Leech Lake endures as a place where history and mystery converge. Indigenous spirits, lost travelers, and echoes of tragic events intertwine in the mists that hover over its waters. Visitors are reminded of the fragility of life and the power of memory. And that some places, though seemingly serene, carry a depth that reaches beyond the ordinary. The lake is more than water and land. It is a threshold where the living brush against the unseen. A place of quiet power and enduring mystery. Waiting for those who venture too close to witness what lingers in shadow and mist. Itasca Lake, serene and expansive, marks the beginning of the mighty Mississippi River. Its waters reflect the surrounding pine forests and open skies, inviting visitors to explore its quiet beauty. Yet beneath this calm surface lies a history steeped in mystery and lingering spirits. For centuries, travelers, explorers, and loggers have passed through these lands. Some never returned. Stories persist of ghostly figures moving along the shoreline. These apparitions are often described as explorers in weathered clothing, or loggers carrying invisible tools, wandering in places where time seems suspended. At twilight, the lake takes on a different character. The setting sun casts long shadows across the water, and the wind whispers through the pines, carrying sounds that seem almost human. Visitors have reported hearing faint voices drifting across the lake, whispering in languages that are difficult to recognize, as if the past itself is trying to communicate. These sounds fade when approached, leaving only an unsettling quiet behind. Strange lights have long been observed along the shores. Flickering glows move erratically, sometimes rising above the tree-line, sometimes skimming the water. Witnesses describe the lights as neither fire nor reflection, but something altogether unearthly. The phenomenon often coincides with an uneasy feeling, a sense of being watched by unseen eyes, amplifying the lake's haunting atmosphere. Walkers along the trails and fishermen on the docks speak of sudden chills and shifting mists. The temperature can drop inexplicably, and fog sometimes rises directly from the water's edge, wrapping the surroundings in a soft, ghostly veil. Within this haze, shapes emerge, figures paused mid-step, frozen in a moment that seems to stretch across time. They vanish when approached, leaving only traces of disturbed air, and a lingering sense of presence. The history of Itasca Lake contributes to its spectral reputation. Early explorers mapped its waters, naming its islands and documenting its flow. Loggers built temporary camps along the shore, many struggling against the harsh wilderness. Some perished in accidents or from exposure, their stories woven into the fabric of the lake. It is said that their spirits remain, eternally retracing the paths they once took, bound by unfinished journeys. Visitors report that sounds on the lake can be unpredictable. A distant splash may have no source, footsteps may echo where no path exists, and a sudden rustle of leaves can startle those who are alone. Canoeists and kayakers often recount glances of shadowy forms in the water or along the banks, moving independently of their own reflection. These experiences leave witnesses questioning what is natural and what belongs to the unseen world. Some describe a sensation of being followed. A presence lingers near the shoreline, invisible but unmistakable. Dogs and wildlife sometimes react, growling or fleeing, while the humans present feel only the weight of attention, the subtle pressure of something just out of reach. Even seasoned outdoor enthusiasts have spoken of a tension that cannot be explained. A boundary between the present and the echoes of the past. The northern lights of the region occasionally add to the mystique. When green and violet hues shimmer above the lake, they illuminate the mist and surrounding trees in a surreal glow. Many have seen forms within this light, indistinct yet recognizably human, as if the spirits themselves are drawn to the rare spectacle. The combination of natural beauty and supernatural suggestion leaves a profound impression on all who witness it. Itasca Lake's reputation is not merely based on sightings. Locals recount tales passed down through generations, from fishermen and forest rangers to historians and storytellers. They speak of explorers whose maps were never found, loggers who vanished from camps, and travelers lost in the surrounding forests. Each story adds to the lake's layered narrative, blending history with legend. The natural with the spectral. On foggy mornings, the lake is said to appear suspended in time. Reflections ripple without wind, and the water holds the faint impression of figures moving beneath its surface. Visitors often describe the experience as both serene and unsettling, a reminder that beauty can coexist with the mysterious. The landscape seems to watch, to remember, and to carry forward the memories of those who once traversed its shores. Even during bright daylight, a subtle sense of presence lingers. Shadows move independently of the sun, and sounds from the forest seem oddly precise, as if mimicking the past. Photographers and nature enthusiasts have occasionally captured anomalies in images, shapes in mist, unexplained glows on the water, and figures that vanish before closer inspection. These instances reinforce the enduring aura of the lake, attracting both curious visitors and those drawn to the unexplained. Itasca Lake remains a destination of natural grandeur and supernatural intrigue. Its waters and forests preserve the memory of those who came before, their lives, their struggles, and their lingering spirits. Every ripple, every whisper, and every flicker of light carries the weight of history, blending with the present to create an atmosphere that is immersive and haunting. For those who visit, the lake offers more than scenic beauty. It provides a connection to a past that refuses to be forgotten. A subtle invitation to witness the intersection of the ordinary and the extraordinary. Every step along its shores, every paddle across its waters, is a journey into a world where the echoes of explorers and loggers remain, unseen yet undeniably felt. Guiding the imagination and awakening a deep, timeless sense of mystery. Itasca Lake stands as both the birthplace of a mighty river and a realm where the past lingers. Its combination of history, natural beauty, and spectral presence ensures that every visit is unforgettable. The lake does not simply reflect the sky and trees, it reflects lives once lived, stories half remembered, and spirits that continue to move quietly along its shores, whispering across the waters for anyone willing to listen. Lake Bemidji stretches wide under the fading light of the evening sky, its calm surface reflecting shades of orange and purple as the sun dips behind distant trees. By day, the lake is alive with the sounds of nature, fishermen casting lines, and the gentle lap of water against docks. Yet as night descends, the atmosphere shifts, and the lake reveals a darker side, one whispered about among locals and experienced by the few who dare to stay until darkness falls. Boaters who navigate the waters after sunset report strange occurrences that defy explanation. Shadows cross the water, moving with an uncanny purpose, sometimes too large or fast to be mere reflections or fish. The air carries faint scents of smoke, an aroma that seems to come from nowhere yet lingers stubbornly, as if telling a story from another time. Overhead, the rustle of leaves and the movement of the water can mimic paddling, though no canoe or vessel is in sight. The sounds are rhythmic and deliberate, echoing across the lake and creating an unsettling harmony with the night. These phenomena are often tied to the history of the area. Long before settlers arrived, the region was home to native inhabitants, whose lives were intertwined with the land and water. Conflict arose when settlers encroached upon their territories. And the stories of these struggles are said to be imprinted upon the lake itself. The spirits of those caught in the clashes are believed to linger. Their presence is subtle but persistent. Visitors speak of a feeling of being watched, a sense that eyes follow every movement from the darkness beyond the trees. Cold drafts can suddenly sweep across the boat, chilling the skin despite calm weather. Shadows seem to shift just at the edge of vision, disappearing when one attempts to focus directly on them. The lake becomes a place of tension and quiet anticipation, where each ripple and flicker of movement carries the possibility of something otherworldly. Some witnesses describe seeing faint outlines of canoes gliding silently across the water, their paddlers invisible or obscured by the mist. The strokes are steady and purposeful, yet the vessels leave no wake, no disturbance in the water beyond the natural ripples of the lake. At times, the shapes appear almost human, moving in pairs or small groups, and vanish abruptly when approached, leaving only a lingering sense of presence. Anglers have reported similar experiences while fishing from the shore or a dock. Shadows pass under their boats, creating dark streaks on the otherwise clear surface. Strange noises accompany these movements, soft splashes and distant voices, carrying the cadence of human activity that does not belong to the present. The air grows thick with tension, and even seasoned fishermen describe a sudden unease. The instinctual feeling that something is not entirely natural in the night. The connection to history is reinforced by stories from local residents. They recount tales passed down through generations, speaking of lives lost and injustices unforgotten. The lake holds these memories like water holds reflection, and those sensitive to the environment can feel the weight of the past pressing upon them. It is as though Lake Bemidji is not just a body of water but a vessel for memory, a silent witness to events that continue to echo across time. As the night deepens, fog can rise suddenly from the surface, curling around boats and docks, softening outlines and muffling sound. Visibility diminishes, and familiar landmarks fade into the gray haze. It is in these moments that the lake feels most alive, the boundary between the living and the departed seeming thinnest. Shadows move more freely, sounds of paddling and soft voices become clearer, and the air grows charged with a presence that is both palpable and intangible. Sounds of paddling and soft voices become clearer, and the air grows charged with a presence that is both palpable and intangible. The air grows charged with a presence that is both palpable and intangible. Despite the eerie experiences, many are drawn to Lake Bemidji for the thrill of witnessing the unexplained. Some return repeatedly, hoping to catch a glimpse of the shadowy figures or to hear the whispers of history carried across the water. Others leave quickly, unsettled by the cold sensations, the moving shapes, and the persistent feeling of being observed. Each encounter is unique, shaped by the observer's position, perception, and the ever-changing nature of the lake at night. Lake Bemidji remains a place where natural beauty and supernatural legend intersect. Its waters are serene by day, but transformed by night, offering an immersive experience that is both captivating and unnerving. The shadows, the smoke, the sounds of unseen canoes, and the lingering energy of the past create a space where history and mystery coexist, drawing visitors into a world where the ordinary and the extraordinary meet. Lake Bemidji remains a place where natural beauty and supernatural legend intersect. For those who venture onto the lake after sunset, every ripple and every movement carries a story. The spirits tied to Lake Bemidji do not demand recognition, but their presence is undeniable. A reminder that the past is never truly gone. As the fog lifts and dawn approaches, the shadows fade, the lake returns to calm, and the echoes of conflict and memory settle once more beneath its surface, leaving only the faintest trace of what has transpired for those who know how to look. Lake Bemidji endures as a testament to the power of place, memory, and the unseen. Where history breathes quietly, where shadows move in the night, and where visitors are reminded that the waters hold stories that the living may glimpse but never fully understand. Spoon Lake lies quietly, tucked away among dense trees and overgrown trails. Its waters are dark and still, reflecting the thick canopy above and the gray sky when clouds gather. By day, it appears serene, almost inviting. Yet those who venture closer often sense an undercurrent of unease. A subtle feeling that the lake holds memories better left undisturbed. The history of Spoon Lake is shrouded in whispers and local legend. Stories speak of unexplained disappearances, of travelers who never returned after wandering too close to the water's edge. The lake's depth is said to be unpredictable, hiding sudden drop-offs and hidden currents. And it seems to possess a strange awareness of those who approach it. Even on warm summer afternoons, visitors sometimes feel a sudden chill as they step near the shoreline. Some swimmers have reported icy hands brushing against their ankles, tugging as if unseen fingers are testing their grip on the surface. The sensation is fleeting yet unmistakable, leaving a lingering fear that something beneath the calm water waits silently for the next unsuspecting visitor. At night, Spoon Lake transforms entirely. Mist rises from the surface, curling across the water in thin, ghostly ribbons. The trees surrounding the lake seem to lean inward, casting long, trembling shadows across the banks. Those who walk along the shore after dark sometimes glimpse figures moving just beyond their vision. Pale shapes drifting along the water's edge before vanishing when looked at directly. The sounds around the lake add to its eerie reputation. Gentle lapping of water against the shore often mingles with faint whispers. Words that are never fully understood but feel insistent. Almost as if someone is calling out from the depths. Occasionally, distant splashes echo through the trees, though no one can be seen in the water. These noises are enough to unsettle even the most confident explorers, leaving them to wonder if the lake itself remembers the tragedies that occurred long ago. Local residents speak of encounters that cannot be explained. Some have reported seeing shadowy figures standing silently among the trees, watching from the tree-line with an intensity that feels almost human. Others claim that reflections in the water show shapes that vanish when approached, or faces that appear briefly before dissolving into ripples. These glimpses are fleeting, but they leave a lasting impression. As if the lake allows only a hint of its secrets to those who dare to look too closely. Spoon Lake has a way of making even familiar surroundings feel unfamiliar. Paths that seem clear in daylight become confusing in the mist, and landmarks appear shifted or distorted. Some believe this is the influence of the spirits said to linger there, unseen yet ever present, shaping the environment to suit their needs. Despite the chilling accounts, Spoon Lake continues to draw those fascinated by the unknown. Paranormal enthusiasts and thrill-seekers venture to its banks, hoping for a glimpse of the unexplained. They bring cameras and recording devices, listening carefully for sounds of movement or whispers that might capture evidence of the lake's otherworldly residents. Some leave convinced they have experienced something extraordinary, while others depart with nothing tangible, only the memory of the cold air and the unsettling sensation of being watched. Even without direct encounters, the atmosphere around Spoon Lake speaks volumes. The air feels heavier here, charged with a subtle tension that intensifies as the sun sets and shadows stretch across the water. Fog drifts across the surface in erratic patterns, obscuring the shoreline and lending the area an otherworldly quality. Each rustle of leaves, each ripple in the water, seems to carry a story from the past, a reminder of the lives once intertwined with this secluded lake. The lake's surface can be deceivingly calm, hiding the turbulent history beneath. Accounts of sudden strong currents, inexplicable drops, and vanishing swimmers reinforce its reputation as a place to be approached with caution. The balance between natural beauty and supernatural mystery keeps Spoon Lake firmly in the realm of legend. Many who leave the lake never forget it. The image of mist curling across dark waters, and the sensation of unseen eyes watching from the shore, remain vivid long after departing. Spoon Lake exerts a quiet power over the imagination, a blend of natural wonder and lingering fear that lingers like the fog itself, remains vivid long after departing. Many who leave the lake never forget it. For visitors, the experience of Spoon Lake is unforgettable. It is a place where the line between the physical and the spectral feels fragile, where the quiet lapping of water and the rustling of trees hint at stories waiting to be discovered. Every step along its banks is a step into a history filled with mystery, and every glance at the dark water is a reminder that some secrets remain just beneath the surface. Spoon Lake stands as a testament to the allure of the unknown, A secluded, shadowed corner of the world where legends live on in the mist. And the memories of those lost are never far from the water's edge. To visit is to feel both the beauty and the chilling presence that defines this small, haunting lake. And to leave with the knowledge that the mysteries of Spoon Lake are far from fully revealed. Lake Kabetogama lies in quiet isolation, nestled deep within dense forest that stretches uninterrupted for miles. The waters are dark and still, reflecting the surrounding pines and the occasional streak of clouds overhead. During the day, it appears serene, a place where nature thrives in silence. But as evening falls, the lake takes on an entirely different presence, one that has drawn both curiosity and caution for generations. Locals tell of spectral fishermen who appear along the shoreline, casting their lines into the water with motions that seem both purposeful and strangely mechanical. Those who have approached them speak of sudden vanishings, figures dissolving into mist or slipping beneath the surface as if the lake itself has claimed them. There is a stillness to their presence, a quiet patience that unsettles anyone who crosses their path, and the stories suggest that they are bound to the lake, trapped in a routine they cannot escape. Floating lights are often reported over the water. They shimmer with a gentle, otherworldly glow, hovering just above the surface. Moving in patterns that defy logic. They do not flicker like lanterns or glow like natural phenomena, but pulse with a steady intensity that seems to follow those who watch them. Witnesses speak of the lights reacting to movement, retreating when approached, and circling when observers linger too long. Their origin remains a mystery, adding to the lake's reputation as a place where the ordinary laws of nature do not fully apply. The lake is also filled with strange noises. Some describe the sound of oars dipping into water that is otherwise calm. Soft splashes from boats that are unseen. Others hear murmured voices, indistinct and carried on the wind, merging with the gentle rustle of the surrounding trees. At times, a low groan echoes across the surface, as if the water itself is responding to some unseen presence. The combination of sight and sound creates a feeling that the lake is alive in a way that defies explanation. A consciousness that watches and records every intrusion into its quiet domain. Visitors often experience sudden cold spots, chills that strike without warning and linger in a concentrated area. The air seems to thicken near these points, and some report their breath fogging even on warm summer nights. These cold spots are unpredictable, appearing along the shoreline, near docks, or in the middle of empty trails, enhancing the sense that the lake is aware of those who enter its territory. For many, the sensation is enough to spur retreat, an instinctive response to an environment that is more alive than it appears. The surrounding forest contributes to the lake's eerie atmosphere. Shadows stretch long and twist as moonlight filters through the trees, creating shapes that shift with each step. Paths seem to lengthen and landmarks appear displaced, making navigation difficult for anyone unfamiliar with the area. Even experienced hikers and anglers report a sense of disorientation, a feeling that the lake and forest collaborate to keep intruders uncertain and cautious. Nighttime at Lake Kabetogama brings the most intense experiences. The spectral fishermen emerge, their motions synchronized with the ripples on the water. Their lights dance across the surface, reflecting in the eyes of those who dare to watch. Unseen footsteps crunch along the banks, and whispers ride the wind through the trees, soft enough to be ignored but persistent enough to keep the listener on edge. Every sound and movement seems deliberate, as though the lake itself is orchestrating a performance that is meant to test the courage of those who cross its waters. The combination of visual phenomena, auditory disturbances, and physical sensations creates. Many visitors leave with a sense that the lake has marked them, an impression of being watched or remembered. Some report dreams filled with the image of spectral figures rowing silently across dark water, or a feeling of being called back to the lake by an unseen hand. These experiences reinforce the legend, ensuring that Lake Kabetogama retains its reputation as a place where the living intersect with the lingering presence of the past. Even during daylight, the lake carries a subtle tension. Mist rising from the surface in the morning seems to animate in unusual ways, forming shapes that vanish when closely examined. Birds circle overhead with an almost predatory vigilance. And the stillness of the water can feel heavy, almost oppressive. For those who have heard the stories, every shadow, reflection, or rustle in the trees carries significance. And every ripple on the surface becomes a reminder that the lake holds more than it reveals. Lake Kabetogama endures as a place where history, mystery, and the unknown converge. Its spectral fishermen, inexplicable lights, sudden chills, and whispered sounds create a haunting tapestry that captivates and unnerves in equal measure. Those who visit, whether drawn by curiosity, legend, or simple love of the natural beauty, cannot escape the impression that the lake is aware, patient, and ever vigilant. For anyone approaching its shores after dark, Lake Kabetogama is not just a body of water. It is a threshold into a world where the ordinary rules do not fully apply. A place where past and present intersect, and where unseen eyes follow each step. The lake keeps its secrets tightly, revealing them only to those willing to tread carefully. Ensuring that its legends continue to echo through the dense forests, over quiet waters, and into the minds of all who encounter its haunted beauty. Lake Mille Lacs stretches across northern Minnesota, its waters vast and deep, reflecting the ever-changing sky. By day, it is a place of serene beauty, where fishermen cast lines and the wind ripples gently across the surface. Yet beneath its calm appearance lies a darker history, whispered among locals and visitors alike. For centuries, the lake has been the site of countless drownings, boating accidents, and unexplained disappearances. Tales of those lost to its depths have been passed down through generations, blending fact with legend. Fishermen speak of sudden fogs rolling in, obscuring vision and carrying with them an uneasy silence, broken only by the lapping of water against empty shores. Fishermen speak of sudden fogs rolling in, obscuring vision and carrying with them an uneasy silence, broken only by the lapping of water against empty shores. It is during these moments that strange phenomena occur. People report seeing ghostly boats gliding across the water, appearing just beyond the mist. Moments later, they vanish without a trace, leaving only a ripple and a lingering sense of something unseen. Shadows along the shoreline are equally unnerving. Figures can be glimpsed standing near the water's edge, watching silently, before dissolving into the morning haze. Some appear dressed in old-fashioned clothing, as though from decades past. While others are harder to discern, their shapes flickering with the fog. Walkers along the beaches have reported hearing distant voices calling, indistinct and echoing, vanishing as they approach. The lake is known to play tricks on perception. Sounds carry oddly across the water, footsteps or the creak of a boat sometimes heard where no person is present. Fishermen often recount moments when their equipment behaves strangely, reels unwinding on their own or lines tugged with no fish in sight. Some swear that unseen hands brush against the sides of boats or gently shift anchors, a reminder that the lake holds more than water beneath its surface. Local legends speak of spirits who never left, souls claimed by the lake and bound to it forever. These are thought to be both accidental victims and those who perished under mysterious circumstances. The stories suggest that on certain nights, especially when mist hugs the water and the moon is low, these spirits become visible to the living, replaying echoes of their final moments. Travelers along the surrounding roads often feel an eerie presence as well. Car engines may falter briefly, headlights dim unexpectedly, or the radio static increases as if reacting to something invisible nearby. Even seasoned locals report a heightened awareness when approaching the lake at night, a sense that the air itself carries memory and warning. The fog is the most common harbinger of strange activity. Thick, rolling clouds obscure islands and shallow banks. And within this veil, ghostly shapes are said to drift silently. Fishermen sometimes see boats with lanterns swinging, though no one rows or steers them. Others claim that the sounds of laughter or shouting echo across the water, vanishing as quickly as they come, leaving the air heavy with anticipation and unease. Mille Lacs has a reputation for drawing the curious and the cautious alike. Some arrive seeking the thrill of ghostly sightings, while others come to pay respects to those lost to its depths. Canoes and kayaks navigating its waters often report sensations of being watched or guided by unseen forces. The lake seems to interact subtly, its surface calm yet layered with memories, history, and lingering presences. The local Ojibwe people have long told stories of spirits connected to the lake. And some believe the waters hold the echoes of those who came before. Explorers, settlers, and fishermen alike have left behind traces of their lives. Some tangible, others not. The lake appears to remember, to hold on to fragments of the past, offering fleeting glimpses to those patient enough to witness them. Visitors have described moments when the water becomes unnaturally still, and the wind drops completely. In these instances, the occasional ripple or flicker of movement signals the presence of something beyond the natural world. Those who experience it speak of an awareness that cannot be shaken, a connection to the unseen that is at once thrilling and disquieting. Even during clear, sunlit days, Mille Lacs retains an air of mystery. Shadows appear where none should exist, and reflections on the water sometimes show figures that disappear when looked at directly. Boats that appear to float without occupants are occasionally seen. Shapes in fog or mist tease the imagination. These encounters, though subtle, reinforce the lake's reputation as a place where the veil between the present and the past remains thin. For generations, Lake Mille Lacs has inspired both respect and caution. Its expansive waters are a testament to natural beauty and human vulnerability. And the stories of ghostly boats, unseen hands, and mysterious lights continue to captivate those who visit. Each ripple, each foggy morning, and each evening shadow carries with it whispers of the past, creating an atmosphere that is both enchanting and haunting. Mille Lacs is not merely a lake. It is a living archive of memory and mystery. The spirits of those lost may be bound to its waters, retracing their final journeys silently and invisibly. Visitors who witness the faint glow of a phantom boat, hear voices in the mist, or feel a sudden chill are experiencing the enduring presence of history and the unexplained. The lake reminds all who approach that beauty and danger often coexist, and that the past is never truly gone. Lake Mille Lacs holds its secrets tightly, revealing them only to those who linger, who watch, and who listen. Every paddle, every step along the shore, every gaze across its vast expanse, is an invitation to encounter the unknown, to glimpse the echoes of lives that remain tethered to its waters, and to feel the quiet, enduring pulse of its haunting legacy. Lake Winnebegoshish lies expansive and still, its waters stretching across the northern landscape, framed by dense forests that rise from its shores. By day, the lake shimmers under the sun, a playground for fishermen and boaters, a haven for wildlife, and a quiet reminder of the region's natural beauty. But as evening falls and the last light fades, the lake reveals a more enigmatic presence, a lingering echo of those who once shaped its shores. Locals tell of apparitions appearing along the banks or on the water. Figures of loggers and early settlers, often seen carrying axes, saws, or other tools that hint at the labor of their past lives. These specters move with purpose, other times drawing near to the boats of those who venture too close after dusk. Boaters recount sudden fog rolling across the surface of the lake, thick and cold, obscuring familiar landmarks and transforming the familiar waters into a world of uncertainty. Within this fog, faint sounds of footsteps echo across the rippling waves, soft at first, then unmistakably deliberate, as though someone walks the shore unseen. The footsteps can circle the boat, vanish, and return from another direction, creating a sense of being watched from all sides. Some witnesses describe catching glimpses of faces in the water, faces that are not their own, staring back from beneath the surface with expressionless eyes. The reflections appear and fade without warning, leaving an unsettling impression that the water itself holds memory, that beneath its calm exterior, history lingers just beneath the surface. The connection to the Lockia's past is palpable. During the logging boom, the surrounding forests were a hive of activity. With men felling trees, moving timber, and establishing settlements along the shore. Life was arduous, and danger was constant. Accidents, drownings, and unexplained disappearances marked the era. And some say that the energy of those lives remains tied to the lake, surfacing in spectral echoes that modern visitors perceive as sightings or sounds. The forested shoreline adds to the eerie atmosphere, shadows shifting under the trees, branches tapping in the wind like the soft percussion of footsteps. The lake mirrors the sky, but the reflection can be deceptive. Misty forms rise from the surface, sometimes taking the shape of human figures moving slowly, their features blurred but unmistakably human. The apparitions are not aggressive, yet their presence is unmistakable, a quiet insistence that the past is never truly gone. Boaters navigating the lake at night often report a sudden chill, a cold that seeps through clothing and bone alike. It is accompanied by the sensation of being followed, an awareness that draws the senses taut. Even experienced locals hesitate to linger after dark, preferring to leave the water while the light remains, unwilling to confront what the lake may reveal under moonlight or fog. Some have described hearing tools striking wood, the soft thump of hammers, and the scrape of axes against tree trunks. Yet no one is present. The sounds seem to emanate from the fog, bouncing across the lake in ways that defy explanation. A boat might glide past where the noise seems to originate. Only for the sounds to continue, distant yet near, creating a sense of disorientation and wonder. Sightings vary in intensity and duration. Occasionally, an apparition will appear at the water's edge, frozen in place as if performing a task from a bygone day. Other times, fleeting glimpses of figures crossing a dock, moving along the shoreline, or vanishing into the fog leave observers questioning what they have seen. The Lockia's surface seems to be a threshold, a space where the world of the living and the echoes of the past intersect, if only briefly. Despite the unsettling experiences, Lake Winnebegoshish draws those intrigued by the supernatural. Historians, and adventurers alike. They seek the chance to witness the unexplainable. To feel the presence of history lingering in the cool night air. And to connect with the stories of settlers and loggers whose lives were inseparable from the lake and its surrounding wilderness. The apparitions are a reminder of the labor, struggle, and fleeting triumphs of a past era. The fog, the cold, and the reflections in the water all serve to heighten the sense of otherworldliness, creating an immersive experience for those who encounter it. As dawn approaches, the fog lifts, shadows fade, and the lake returns to its placid daytime state. Boats glide across the clear water, birds call from the trees, and the sense of the supernatural recedes with the rising sun. Yet the stories persist, carried by locals and visitors who have glimpsed the unseen. Lake Winnebegoshish remains a place where history lives on, where echoes of the past rise with the mist, and where the spirits of loggers and settlers are never truly gone, silently guarding the lake they once called home. The lake endures as both a natural sanctuary and a site of mystery. Each ripple, each reflection, and each flicker of fog reminds visitors that beneath its calm exterior, Lake Winnebegoshish holds more than water and trees. It holds memory, history, and the enduring presence of those who have walked its shores. A timeless connection between the living and the past, waiting for those willing to see and listen. The lake endures as both a natural sanctuary and a site of mystery. Lade Lake rests quietly in a secluded valley, its surface dark and still, reflecting the skeletal remains of old mining structures that surround it. By day, it appears peaceful, a small body of water nestled among gentle slopes and overgrown trails. Yet those who have ventured near after dusk speak of a different atmosphere, one heavy with unseen eyes and the weight of long-forgotten tragedies. The history of Lade Lake is tightly bound to the mining operations that once thrived here. Decades ago, men labored tirelessly in shafts and tunnels, extracting ore and risking their lives for the promise of wealth. Accidents were common, some fatal, leaving workers buried beneath earth, stone, or rusted machinery. Over time, their stories faded from record books. But locals say their spirits linger, unable to leave the place where their lives ended. As night falls, the lake takes on an eerie presence. The air grows cooler, and a thick fog often drifts across the water. Visitors have reported hearing the clatter of machinery and the echo of footsteps in areas long abandoned, though no one is present. Then gradually closer, as if somania or something is moving through the shadows. Occasionally, the cries of unseen workers rise above the stillness, carried on the wind. The noises are not loud or threatening, but they convey a deep sense of urgency and sorrow, a reminder of lives cut short by the unforgiving workings of the mines. Some who have walked the shore report sudden shivers, an icy chill that moves along the spine even on warm nights, leaving them certain they are not alone. The lake itself seems to hold the memories of those who perished. Its waters ripple without wind, and reflections sometimes appear distorted, showing shapes that vanish when observed directly. Visitors describe seeing shadowy figures among the ruins, shapes that resemble miners carrying tools or climbing ladders, fading into the mist as they approach. It is as if the lake offers brief glimpses into the past, fleeting visions of the lives that were intertwined with this place. Paths leading to the lake are often deceptive. Trails that seem straightforward by day can twist and shift at night, obscured by fog and darkness. Travelers sometimes report feeling watched, a sensation that grows stronger as they draw closer to the water. Some pause at the edge, peering into the inky depths, only to catch a glimpse of movement beneath the surface, a shadow or figure that disappears as soon as it is noticed. Locals tell of certain nights when the haunting is more pronounced. Cold waves sweep across the valley, bringing with them the sound of distant machinery, the groaning of timber, and the muffled voices of miners from long ago. Some say these are echoes of accidents, replaying endlessly, a spectral reminder of the dangers that once lurked here. The more one listens, the more the lake feels alive, a reservoir of memories that refuses to be silent. Those who have stayed near Lade Lake describe a powerful atmosphere of melancholy and reflection. Even without direct apparitions, the environment conveys a deep sense of loss. The quiet lapping of water against the shore and the gentle rustle of leaves in the surrounding trees seem to form a dialogue with the past. As though the lake itself remembers each tragedy that occurred along its banks. Photographers and paranormal enthusiasts have tried to capture evidence of the hauntings. Some report faint silhouettes near the water or glimpses of figures in mining garb among the ruins. Others have captured unusual orbs of light hovering near the lake, appearing and disappearing in ways that defy natural explanation. Whether these manifestations are spirits or tricks of shadow and mist, they reinforce the belief that Lade Lake is a place where the boundary between the living and the dead feels fragile and permeable. Even in daylight, the lake exudes an almost tangible weight. The abandoned equipment, rusted supports, and collapsed wooden walkways create a landscape that evokes the past more vividly than any written record could. Every plank, every piece of metal, seems to carry the imprint of lives once devoted to labor. Of dreams that ended abruptly beneath the unforgiving soil. The lake acts as a silent memorial, its presence a reminder of the cost of human endeavor and the spirits that linger where life was lost. For those who visit, Lade Lake is an experience both haunting and captivating. Its quiet beauty contrasts with the lingering sense of sorrow, the echoes of a time when danger and death were ever present. Each sound, each movement in the mist, carries a story waiting to be discovered, offering a glimpse into a forgotten past that refuses to be forgotten completely. Lade Lake remains a place of mystery and reflection. It is not merely a body of water, but a living record of lives intertwined with labor, risk, and tragedy. Visitors leave with memories of the Lochia's dark waters, the spectral whispers carried on the wind, and the subtle awareness that some places hold the past close, never allowing it to fade entirely. Here, the spirits of miners and workers linger in quiet remembrance, ensuring that Lade Lake will never be a place of simple calm, but always a place where history and haunting coexist. The spirits of miners and workers linger in quiet remembrance, ensuring that Lade Lake will never be a place of simple calm, but always a place where history and haunting coexist. Lake Phelan rests quietly within its urban surroundings, a body of water that during the day seems peaceful, framed by trees and walking paths. The gentle ripples reflect the sunlight, children play along the shore, and joggers pass by unaware of the stories that linger in the shadows. But as night falls, the atmosphere shifts. The lake becomes a place of whispers, cold air, and something that moves just beyond sight. Locals speak of a woman in black who wanders the shoreline after dusk. She appears without sound, her figure elongated and motionless at times, gliding along the edge of the water. Those who have seen her say she disappears into the trees without a trace, leaving behind a faint chill that lingers in the air. Even on warm nights, the temperature drops around her presence, a sudden frost that curls and fades like a ghostly breath. Visitors report the sensation of being watched as they walk along the paths. The wind carries faint rustling, not from leaves or wildlife, but from footsteps that mimic their own. Shadows along the tree line stretch and twist in ways that seem unnatural, as though the lake itself is bending reality around the figure in black. Some have stopped to call out, only to find silence and an empty shoreline. The trail of frost remains as a silent testament that she was there, yet she is never truly seen. The presence is not violent or threatening, but profoundly unsettling. The woman in black moves with purpose, her gaze invisible yet tangible in the way it presses against the senses of anyone nearby. People who linger report a feeling of weight, as if the air itself has grown heavier, pushing against them. The lake reflects a deeper darkness in its surface. Sounds that should belong to the night take on eerie qualities, the lapping of water becomes deliberate, the call of a distant bird sharp and alien. Those who have encountered her speak of fleeting glimpses, corners of vision catching her as she steps behind trees. Or reflections on the water showing movement that vanishes when observed directly. For some, the experience lingers long after they leave the lake, a quiet awareness that something watches and remembers. The shoreline seems to amplify her presence. Areas that appear normal during the day take on an alien quality at night. Paths that wind through the trees feel longer, corners more pronounced, and shadows deepen with a weight that resists explanation. Even the wind seems to obey, shifting to carry faint whispers or brushing across the skin in unexpected ways. The lake becomes a threshold, a space where natural law softens and the unknown finds form in the figure that wanders silently. Nighttime visits reveal more than the woman herself. The air carries subtle sounds of movement, faint rustling that may be her footsteps or something else entirely. The frost she leaves lingers in patterns that seem deliberate, outlining where she has walked or paused. Witnesses speak of the sensation of being followed, of reflections in the water showing shapes that move independently. All creating a layered experience that combines sight, sound, and touch in ways that defy ordinary explanation. The history of the lake adds to its mystique. Stories passed down speak of tragedy, loss, and longing. Threads that weave into the figure's presence. Some say she is searching for something lost. A child, a loved one, or a moment that ended too soon. Others believe she is bound to the lake itself. Unable to leave the shore and compelled to wander endlessly. Whatever the truth, her presence transforms a familiar setting into a place of quiet tension and heightened awareness. Encounters with her are brief but impactful. People describe stepping onto the boardwalk or pausing at the edge of the water to find a sudden drop in temperature. A faint mist curling around their feet. And the sensation of eyes following every movement. By the time one turns, she has vanished, leaving only the imprint of frost. And an uneasy feeling that something has crossed the threshold between the visible and invisible. Even without direct sightings, the lake maintains an air of quiet unease after dark. The combination of water, forested edges, and the unknown creates a space that feels alive and aware. Leaves whisper in patterns that suggest attention, shadows cling to paths unnaturally, and the surface of the water reflects shapes that shift when glanced at. All of these elements converge into the presence of the woman in black, making Lake Phelan a site where the natural and supernatural intertwine. Lake Phelan endures as a place where curiosity meets caution. The woman in black is patient, her wandering deliberate and her presence undeniable to those who witness it. Visitors leave with more than memories, they carry the sense that the lake watches, remembers, and holds a fragment of something beyond the ordinary. The stories continue to be shared, whispered among locals and newcomers alike, ensuring that her figure persists along the shoreline, frost trailing in the night air, waiting for the next observer to glimpse her silent vigil. Pelican Lake lies nestled among dense forests, its waters calm and reflective under the sun. By day, families gather along its sandy beaches, casting lines into the water or letting children play along the shore. Yet beneath the surface and along its edges, the lake holds a chilling history that few speak of openly. For decades, the waters of Pelican Lake have claimed lives. Accidents, drownings, and disappearances have been recorded, leaving a sense of unease among locals. Those who live nearby know the stories, whispered over campfires or told in hushed tones by fishermen who prefer to avoid the lake at night. The most persistent tales speak of children lost to the water, their spirits said to linger, tied forever to the shores where they once played. Visitors have reported strange sensations while near the beaches. Swimmers sometimes feel sudden tugs, as if something beneath the surface brushes against them. Cold grips have been described, brief yet unmistakable, leaving the skin shivering and the heart racing. Some say these are the hands of children who drowned years ago, unable to move on, reaching toward those who enter their watery domain. The atmosphere of the lake changes as the sun begins to set. Shadows stretch across the water. And the wind carries faint, almost imperceptible whispers. Those walking along the shore may hear soft laughter or the sound of feet running across sand where no one is present. Shapes are sometimes glimpsed out of the corner of the eye. Tiny figures darting between trees or along the water's edge, vanishing the moment they are directly observed. Boaters have told of strange occurrences while on the lake. Oars feel heavier than usual, as if being resisted by an unseen force. Equipment sometimes fails without explanation, radios crackling with static or compasses spinning erratically. In some cases, passengers report feeling nudges or light touches from nowhere, as though the water itself is alive with presence. The fog that occasionally rises off Pelican Lake adds to its eerie reputation. Thick and low-hanging, it obscures the far shore and creates an otherworldly glow under the moonlight. Within this mist, figures are said to appear, translucent and faint. Children are most commonly described, running along the sand or wading into the shallows. They disappear when approached, leaving only ripples across the water as proof of their presence. Local folklore suggests that the lake remembers the tragedies that occurred upon its surface. Each wave and ripple may carry fragments of the past, echoes of laughter cut short and footsteps never reaching home. Fishermen tell of days when the wind dies suddenly, and the water becomes unnaturally still, as if holding its breath. In these moments, some claim to hear calls or cries, faint but clear enough to stir unease. The history of Pelican Lake is not solely about misfortune. Generations of families have enjoyed its beauty, unaware of the stories hidden beneath the surface. Yet those who know the legends remain cautious, especially as evening falls. Shadows stretch, water darkens, and the air grows heavy with expectation. A sense of being watched lingers, compelling visitors to tread lightly and respect the unseen forces that may inhabit the lake. Swimming in the shallows after sunset is particularly discouraged by locals. Many recount the feeling of being held, a cold pressure around their ankles or hands, pulling gently but insistently. Some have claimed to see small figures swimming alongside them, indistinct at first, yet unmistakably present. These encounters are fleeting, vanishing as suddenly as they appear, leaving only questions and unease in their wake. The surrounding woods amplify the lake's mysterious aura. Trees sway even when the wind is calm, and the rustle of leaves sometimes mimics the patter of tiny feet. Walkers along the paths report glimpses of small forms darting between trunks, never staying long enough to be fully seen. The boundary between reality and legend blurs here, making each visit an experience both enchanting and unsettling. On certain nights, especially when the moon hangs low, and the fog drifts across the water, these are said to mark the presence of spirits moving just beneath the water. Playful yet somber, aware of the living yet unreachable. The effect is mesmerizing and chilling, a reminder of the Lakia's hidden past. Pelican Lake's reputation has drawn curiosity seekers over the years, but many leave with more questions than answers. Locals advise caution, respecting the lake's history and the children who remain tied to it. The stories are not meant to frighten without reason, they serve as a reminder that beneath beauty can lie unseen forces. That every ripple carries memory, and that the past can reach into the present in unexpected ways. Visitors who take the time to observe carefully may notice subtle signs, ripples without wind, faint shadows moving in the shallows, or the feeling of being watched. These small details reinforce the tales, hinting at a presence that has endured for decades. It is a presence that is quiet, patient, and ever-present, yet elusive enough to maintain its mystery. Pelican Lake is a place of contrasts. Its waters shimmer in sunlight, inviting relaxation and play. Yet beneath this serene exterior lies a darker, more spectral reality. Ghostly children linger near the beaches, tugs and cold grips remind swimmers of unseen hands. And whispers float across the water on quiet nights. It is a place where beauty and tragedy coexist, where history and legend merge, and where the living and the departed meet along the shoreline, if only briefly. The lake continues to draw people, both for recreation and for the thrill of its stories. Each visit is an opportunity to witness its hidden side, to feel the lingering presence of those who never left, and to experience a landscape imbued with memory and mystery. Pelican Lake is more than a body of water, it is a keeper of secrets, a home to the lost, and a place where the past is never truly gone, always waiting just beneath the surface. Lake Sylvia rests quietly in central Minnesota, its waters shimmering beneath the late afternoon sun, fringed by dense woods that stretch uninterrupted for miles. By day, the lake seems serene and inviting, a place for anglers and campers seeking solitude among nature. But when night falls, Sylvia transforms into a landscape of mystery, where legends of phantom canoes and spectral lights come alive. Locals speak of strange occurrences on moonless nights, when fog rises thick and cold from the Lakia's surface. Shadows appear to drift across the water, shapes that do not match any physical object. Some describe seeing canoes gliding silently, their outlines faintly illuminated by a ghostly glow, as if paddled by figures not of this world. The spirits associated with Lake Sylvia are said to be playful yet dangerous, often luring night travelers toward the water. Those who pause to watch report a sudden chill in the air, as if unseen eyes are following every movement. Ripples spread across the surface where no one has touched the water, and the sound of paddles cutting through the lake echoes softly, carrying an otherworldly rhythm that seems to draw observers closer. Many who have encountered these phenomena describe a sense of being watched. A sense of being watched, a tugging sensation at the edge of the dock or the shoreline. The spirit's presence is subtle at first, teasing, drawing attention with soft, spectral lights that shimmer just beyond reach. But there is an underlying danger, an unspoken warning in the way the shadows move and the way the fog thickens around unsuspecting visitors. Phantom lights sometimes appear above the water, hovering like fireflies but unnaturally bright. They move in patterns that suggest intent, circling observers before vanishing abruptly into the darkness. These lights are often accompanied by the sound of water lapping against invisible hulls, a rhythmic motion that can unsettle even the most experienced camper or fisherman. The surrounding forest adds to the lake's eerie ambience. Trees stand tall and silent, their branches brushing together in the wind, producing whispers. The whispers mingle with the sounds of the water. At times, the fog creeps between the trunks, moving like a living entity, concealing shapes and distorting perception. Those who venture too far from the shore can quickly lose their bearings, feeling the lake itself shifting around them, guiding them toward the unknown. Sightings are not limited to the water. Some report seeing figures standing along the shoreline, watching silently from the tree line. Their forms are human-like but indistinct, features blurred by the mist and darkness. These apparitions seem aware of intruders, moving in subtle ways that suggest curiosity, yet an unseen force keeps them just out of reach. Stories of lost travelers and mysterious disappearances have circulated for decades. While not all have verifiable explanations, they reinforce the Lochia's reputation as a place where the living and the spectral intersect. Visitors often speak of sudden cold drafts, sounds of laughter or murmurs echoing from the woods, and fleeting glimpses of movement across the water. The experiences leave a lingering impression, a reminder that Lake Sylvia holds more than water and trees. Some nights, a canoe appears silently, gliding across the fog-laden lake. Gliding across the fog-laden lake, illuminated by a faint blue or white glow. It moves with a fluidity that seems impossible, stopping abruptly near a dock or shoreline, only to vanish when approached. Those who have braved a closer look report a sense of longing emanating from the vessel, as if it seeks company yet cannot communicate in human terms. The legends persist because the experiences are vivid and consistent. Campers and locals alike recount similar sensations: the tug of invisible hands, the ethereal lights, the rhythmic sounds of paddles. The inexplicable feeling of being watched. The lake commands respect, a natural boundary between the familiar and the unknown, where curiosity can lead to wonder or unease in equal measure. As dawn approaches, the fog lifts, the spectral lights fade. The lake returns to its daytime serenity. Sunlight dances across the water, birds call from the trees, and the forest seems at peace once more. Yet the stories remain, shared in hushed tones. Warnings whispered among those who live near its shores. Lake Sylvia endures as a place where the natural and supernatural converge. A site of beauty, mystery, and lingering presence. Where the natural and supernatural converge. A place of wonder and terror. For those who visit, the experience is both captivating and cautionary. The lake invites exploration, but it also demands reverence. Every ripple, every shadow, and every flicker of light serves as a reminder that history and legend are woven into the very fabric of Lake Sylvia. And that beneath its calm exterior, the spirits of the past remain ever vigilant, waiting for those who dare to encounter them. The legend of Lake Sylvia is not one of terror alone, but of fascination, where curiosity meets the unknown. And the living are reminded that some places hold echoes of lives long past. Here, the lake keeps its secrets, revealing glimpses only to those who venture carefully, mindful of the playful yet perilous spirits that call it home. Here, the lake keeps its secrets, revealing glimpses only to those who venture carefully, mindful of the playful yet perilous spirits that call it home. Here, the lake keeps its secrets, revealing glimpses only to those who venture carefully, mindful of the playful yet perilous spirits that call it home. Here, the lake keeps its secrets, revealing glimpses only to those who venture carefully, mindful of the playful yet perilous spirits that call it home. Here, the lake keeps its secrets, revealing glimpses only to those who venture carefully, mindful of the playful yet perilous spirits that call it home. Here, the lake keeps its secrets, revealing glimpses only to those who venture carefully, mindful of the playful yet perilous spirits that call it home. Here, the lake keeps its secrets, revealing glimpses only to those who venture carefully, mindful of the playful yet perilous spirits that call it home. Here, the lake keeps its secrets, revealing glimpses only to those who venture carefully, mindful of the playful yet perilous spirits that call it home. Here, the lake keeps its secrets, revealing glimpses only to those who venture carefully, mindful of the playful yet perilous spirits that call it home. Here, the lake keeps its secrets, revealing glimpses only to those who venture carefully, mindful of the playful yet perilous spirits that call it home. Here, the lake keeps its secrets, revealing glimpses only to those who venture carefully, mindful of the playful yet perilous spirits that call it home. But of fascination, where curiosity meets the unknown, and the living are reminded that some places hold echoes of lives long past. Here, the lake keeps its secrets, revealing glimpses only to those who venture carefully, mindful of the playful yet perilous spirits that call it home. Here, the lake keeps its secrets, revealing glimpses only to those who venture carefully, mindful of the playful yet perilous spirits that call it home. Here, the lake keeps its secrets, revealing glimpses only to those who venture carefully, mindful of the playful yet perilous spirits that call it home. Here, the lake keeps its secrets, revealing glimpses only to those who venture carefully, mindful of the playful yet perilous spirits that call it home. Here, the lake keeps its secrets, revealing glimpses only to those who venture carefully, mindful of the playful yet perilous spirits that call it home. Here, the lake keeps its secrets, revealing glimpses only to those who venture carefully, mindful of the playful yet perilous spirits that call it home. Here, the lake keeps its secrets, revealing glimpses only to those who venture carefully, mindful of the playful yet perilous spirits that call it home. But of fascination, where curiosity meets the unknown, and the living are reminded that some places hold echoes of lives long past. Here, the lake keeps its secrets, revealing glimpses only to those who venture carefully, mindful of the playful yet perilous spirits that call it home. Here, the lake keeps its secrets, revealing glimpses only to those who venture carefully, mindful of the playful yet perilous spirits that call it home. Here, the lake keeps its secrets, revealing glimpses only to those who venture carefully, mindful of the playful yet perilous spirits that call it home. Here, the lake keeps its secrets, revealing glimpses only to those who venture carefully, mindful of the playful yet perilous spirits that call it home. Here, the lake keeps its secrets, revealing glimpses only to those who venture carefully, mindful of the playful yet perilous spirits that call it home. Here, the lake keeps its secrets, revealing glimpses only to those who venture carefully, mindful of the playful yet perilous spirits that call it home. Here, the lake keeps its secrets, revealing glimpses only to those who venture carefully, mindful of the playful yet perilous spirits that call it home. But of fascination, where curiosity meets the unknown, and the living are reminded that some places hold echoes of lives long past. Here, the lake keeps its secrets, revealing glimpses only to those who venture carefully, mindful of the playful yet perilous spirits that call it home. Here, the lake keeps its secrets, revealing glimpses only to those who venture carefully, mindful of the playful yet perilous spirits that call it home. Here, the lake keeps its secrets, revealing glimpses only to those who venture carefully, mindful of the playful yet perilous spirits that call it home. Here, the lake keeps its secrets, revealing glimpses only to those who venture carefully, mindful of the playful yet perilous spirits that call it home. Here, the lake keeps its secrets, revealing glimpses only to those who venture carefully, mindful of the playful yet perilous spirits that call it home. Here, the lake keeps its secrets, revealing glimpses only to those who venture carefully, mindful of the playful yet perilous spirits that call it home. Here, the lake keeps its secrets, revealing glimpses only to those who venture carefully, mindful of the playful yet perilous spirits that call it home. But of fascination, where curiosity meets the unknown, and the living are reminded that some places hold echoes of lives long past. Here, the lake keeps its secrets, revealing glimpses only to those who venture carefully, mindful of the playful yet perilous spirits that call it home. Here, the lake keeps its secrets, revealing glimpses only to those who venture carefully, mindful of the playful yet perilous spirits that call it home. Here, the lake keeps its secrets, revealing glimpses only to those who venture carefully, mindful of the playful yet perilous spirits that call it home. Here, the lake keeps its secrets, revealing glimpses only to those who venture carefully, mindful of the playful yet perilous spirits that call it home. Here, the lake keeps its secrets, revealing glimpses only to those who venture carefully, mindful of the playful yet perilous spirits that call it home. Unusual orbs of light hovering near the lake, appearing and disappearing in ways that defy natural explanation. Even in daylight, the lake exudes an almost tangible weight. The abandoned equipment, rusted supports, and collapsed wooden walkways create a landscape that evokes the past more vividly than any written record could. Every plank, every piece of metal, seems to carry the imprint of lives once devoted to labor, of dreams that ended abruptly beneath the unforgiving soil. The lake acts as a silent memorial, its presence a reminder of the cost of human endeavor and the spirits that linger where life was lost. For those who visit, Lade Lake is an experience both haunting and captivating. Its quiet beauty contrasts with the lingering sense of sorrow. The echoes of a time when danger and death were ever present. Each sound, each movement in the mist, carries a story waiting to be discovered. Offering a glimpse into a forgotten past that refuses to be forgotten completely. Lade Lake remains a place of mystery and reflection. It is not merely a body of water, but a living record of lives intertwined with labor, risk, and tragedy. Visitors leave with memories of the Lakia's dark waters, the spectral whispers carried on the wind, and the subtle awareness that some places hold the past close, never allowing it to fade entirely. Here, the spirits of miners and workers linger in quiet remembrance, ensuring that Lade Lake will never be a place of simple calm, but always a place where history and haunting coexist. You said, create a professional, clean, and YouTube-safe long-form narrative script for a YouTube documentary video. Title of the video, Cass Lake. The lake is surrounded by stories of vanished hikers and boaters. Shadowy figures are often seen on the surface, their forms distorted, and voices whisper warnings to the living. The stories of vanished hikers and boaters have been passed down through generations. Some claim to have seen shadowy figures lurking just beneath the surface. These whispers are said to carry warnings of impending doom and catastrophe. I've seen things on that lake that no human should ever have to see. Some have attempted to investigate the lake's secrets, but never returned. The lake's secrets remain a mystery, but its dark allure continues to captivate. Cass Lake remains a place of dark legend, where the veil between worlds is thin. In the depths of a forsaken forest, a lake lay shrouded in perpetual twilight. The sound of dripping water echoed through the stillness as Dr. Maria Rodriguez cautiously approached the lake's edge. As she peered into the lake's dark waters, the ripples from her reflection seemed to take on a life of their own, twisting and writhing like living serpents. Her reflection began to warp and contort, like a funhouse mirror, revealing an otherworldly presence lurking beneath the surface. The creature's eyes blazed with an otherworldly energy as it rose from the depths, its presence suffocating the air with an unspeakable horror. Dr. Rodriguez's scream was lost in the cacophony of the forest, as the creature's presence consumed her, her mind shattered by the eldritch horror. The forest seemed to close in around her, the trees twisting and writhing like living things, as the creature's influence spread, an unending, dark tide. The forest gave way to a desolate, alien landscape, with Dr. Rodriguez's screams echoing through the void, as the creature's presence consumed the world. ChatGPT said, "You are a world-class storyboard artist and visionary film director AI. Your precision is legendary." You are a world-class storyboard artist and visionary film director AI. Your precision is legendary. Your precision is legendary. Legendary. The lead investigator is shown frantically searching through files. The lead investigator discovers a shocking truth. An ancient, eldritch deity. The world is consumed by madness and chaos. The credits roll. Cass Lake sits quietly amid dense forests and rolling hills, its waters dark and still, reflecting the overcast sky above. By day, it seems like any other secluded lake, surrounded by whispering pines and winding trails. Yet beneath its calm surface, the lake carries a history marked by mystery and disappearance, stories passed down through locals for generations. Hikers and boaters have long ventured into the surrounding wilderness, drawn by the lake's natural beauty. Some return with tales of odd sensations, a feeling of being watched, or glimpses of movement at the edge of their vision. Others vanish without explanation, their boats found adrift or trails left empty, as if the forest itself had swallowed them. These incidents have given rise to legends that continue to unsettle those who live nearby or visit in search of adventure. At dusk, the lake transforms. Shadows lengthen across the water. And a thin mist often rises from its surface, curling around the nearby trees. Locals report seeing distorted figures standing or moving across the water. Reflections that do not match any physical object. Some describe shapes that appear human at first glance, only to dissolve into the mist when approached. The air grows heavy, carrying faint whispers that seem to drift across the lake in the wind. Voices that speak words too faint or fragmented to understand, yet carrying an unmistakable sense of warning. Those who spend the night near the shore tell of sudden chills that creep across the skin. Icy currents that seem to emanate from the water itself. Footsteps are sometimes heard along trails that are clearly empty. And the crackle of unseen branches breaking under weight that is not there creates a growing tension, as if the forest and lake are alive, observing each intruder. Some have felt invisible hands brush against their arms or shoulders, prompting a quick retreat to the safety of the car or campsite. Boaters on Cass Lake have their own accounts. Small waves form on perfectly calm nights, disturbing the water without visible cause. Occasionally, paddles or oars move on their own, cutting through water that should remain still. Shadows glide across the surface, their movements deliberate and fluid, yet impossible to trace to any physical being. Many who have witnessed these phenomena speak of an overwhelming sense of unease, an impression that the lake is protecting some secret, guarding its waters against outsiders. The forest surrounding the lake is equally unsettling. Trails wind unpredictably, often leading to locations that seem familiar at first, only to turn into paths with no exit. Nightfall brings increased uncertainty, with sounds of distant movement echoing through the trees. Some hikers report fleeting glimpses of pale figures standing among the trunks, watching silently before vanishing without a trace. The combination of dark waters and shadowy woods creates an atmosphere thick with tension. A place where reality feels unstable and unseen forces may be at play. Sightings of ghostly figures on the lake are often accompanied by auditory experiences. Whispered warnings, indistinct but persistent, seem to drift across the water and along the shore. Words like leave, turn back, or stay away are reported by those who have experienced these phenomena, carried on the wind in a voice that seems both near and impossibly distant. The combination of visual and auditory anomalies leaves visitors with a profound impression that Cass Lake is a place where the line between the living and the lost is thin. Photographers and enthusiasts who attempt to capture images at the lake sometimes report anomalies in their pictures. Mist forms shapes that resemble human silhouettes, and reflections in the water appear to show movement that cannot be accounted for by wind or light. At times, orbs of faint light hover near the surface, appearing and disappearing at random. These unexplained phenomena contribute to the growing sense that Cass Lake is not simply a body of water, but a focal point for lingering spirits or energies connected to past tragedies. Even during the day, the lake holds a quiet, unnerving presence. The still waters seem heavier, as though carrying the memories of those who vanished here. Boats left unattended appear to shift slightly. And shadows seem to cling to the edges of the water, moving with an almost imperceptible rhythm. The combination of natural beauty and persistent unease gives Cass Lake a duality that both attracts and repels visitors, drawing them into its mysterious embrace while warning them to remain cautious. For those who linger near the water after dark, the lake offers a haunting reminder of the unknown. The shadows, whispers, and sudden chills create an immersive environment that feels alive with memory and mystery. Each ripple, each fleeting figure, tells a story of those who were lost, of lives interrupted and left behind in the darkness. Cass Lake is a place of contemplation and tension, where the natural world intersects with the supernatural, and where visitors are reminded that some places hold secrets that refuse to be forgotten. Cass Lake endures as a destination of fascination and fear. Its waters are calm, yet the legends and sightings of shadowy figures, whispered warnings, and sudden disappearances persist. Every visitor leaves with a sense that the lake is more than a serene wilderness retreat. It is a place where the past lingers in subtle ways, where spirits may walk just out of sight, and where the line between reality and the unknown remains forever blurred. The lake keeps its secrets, and those who enter its domain cannot help but feel the presence of those who have vanished. Those who enter its domain cannot help but feel the presence of those who have vanished. Watching silently, forever connected to the dark, reflective waters of Cass Lake. Lake Bemidji's east shore lies quiet under the gaze of early evening, the water reflecting the last embers of sunlight as the wind brushes gently across the surface. During the day the shoreline appears peaceful with trees lining the banks and gentle ripples lapping at the sand. But as dusk descends the air grows dense with a presence that is hard to define. A subtle hush falls over the area as if the world itself is holding its breath, preparing for something unseen. Visitors to this part of the lake have reported an unusual phenomenon. From across the water, faint sounds of piano music drift through the trees, delicate and melancholy, as though a pianist is playing somewhere just out of reach. There is no building, no docked boat, nothing that could produce the music, yet the notes persist, flowing across the mist-covered lake with an eerie precision. The melodies shift with the wind, sometimes soft and distant, other times sharp and haunting, filling the senses with an unexplainable nostalgia. Alongside the music, figures have been seen dancing in the fog that gathers along the shoreline. Their movements are graceful, almost hypnotic, as if following an invisible rhythm. They appear and disappear with sudden fluidity, fading into the mist whenever someone tries to approach. Observers describe an uncanny beauty in the shapes, their forms blurred at the edges, like smoke or reflected light. There is no fear in the sight, only a sense of mystery, and an awareness that the lake holds stories from a time that may no longer exist. The fog itself seems alive, curling along the water's surface and around the trees, creating silhouettes that tease the imagination. Shadows stretch in unusual patterns, bending around tree trunks and rocks, sometimes converging into human-like forms that vanish the moment they are directly observed. The air grows cooler as night falls, carrying the faint scent of damp earth and the lake's cold water, heightening the sense of something ancient lingering just out of reach. Many who have visited the East Shore recount the sensation of being drawn into the music. Steps slow unconsciously, movements become measured, and attention focuses entirely on the drifting notes. The piano is never close enough to locate, and yet its presence is undeniable. Combined with the sight of the fog-bound dancers, the experience creates a moment suspended between the natural and the supernatural. A liminal space where time and reality seem to bend. Some visitors have described seeing the figures more clearly during periods of heavy fog. A pair may twirl together near the water's edge, another stand still with head bowed, while others glide in single file across the shoreline. When approached, they dissolve into the mist without a trace, leaving only faint ripples on the water and a lingering chill that settles into the skin. Even those who remain on the boardwalk or the path above the shore feel the presence of these figures, as if the very air vibrates with their movement. The music and the dancers are not aggressive or threatening. There is no sense of danger, only a quiet insistence that something is being observed, recorded, and remembered. It is as if the lake itself is a living archive, preserving moments and lives long past. Whispers carried on the wind sometimes mix with the piano, faint echoes of laughter or conversation from another time, blending seamlessly with the melodies to create an otherworldly symphony. The effect is cumulative. Those who linger too long report a feeling of timelessness, a subtle disorientation as night deepens. Distances seem to shift, trees appear closer or farther away than they should. And the water reflects shapes that are not immediately identifiable. The piano, though faint, continues to play. And the dancers drift at the edges of vision, never fully tangible but always present. The lake transforms into a space where memory, perception, and legend intertwine, creating a deeply immersive and unforgettable encounter. Local lore adds depth to these experiences. Some say the shore was once the site of gatherings, celebrations, or quiet reflection, and that the echoes of those moments linger. Others believe that those who died near the lake remain tethered to its waters, replaying fragments of their lives in spectral form. Whether legend or memory, the East Shore carries an undeniable energy. An unseen audience that watches as visitors cross paths with its mysteries. By the time night fully settles, the East Shore of Lake Bemidji becomes a place apart from the ordinary world. The music continues to drift across the water. The fog dancers glide silently in the mist. And the lake itself seems to pulse with life unseen. Even for those who observe from a distance, the atmosphere is charged with a mixture of wonder and unease. A reminder that not all who once lived here have truly departed. Those who leave carry with them the memory of melodies without source, figures without form, and a shoreline that seems to stretch beyond the bounds of reason. Lake Bemidji's East Shore endures as a place where the natural world and the spectral meet. A quiet, haunting space that preserves the whispers of the past for anyone willing to listen and watch. The music and the dancers continue, waiting for the next visitor to step close enough to witness the subtle magic. And perhaps, to feel the presence of a time long gone but never forgotten. Moose Lake rests quietly among dense forests, its waters calm and reflective under the afternoon sun. Families gather along the shores, fishermen cast lines, and hikers explore the winding trails that snake through the surrounding woods. By day, the lake is a place of laughter and leisure, but as night falls, the atmosphere transforms, and the forest takes on a darker, more unsettling character. Local legends tell of hunters and campers who never returned, their lives lost to the dense woods or the unforgiving waters of Moose Lake. Over the years, these stories have become part of the Lakia's lore, whispered among those familiar with its secrets. As darkness spreads across the water, witnesses have reported unusual sights and sounds, as if the forest itself remembers those who vanished. Visitors walking the trails after sunset often speak of glowing eyes appearing in the shadows. These are said to belong to spirits of lost hunters, silently observing from behind trees. Footsteps echo through the forest, heavy or light depending on the witness, yet when turned to face the sound, no one is there. The air grows colder, and a sense of being watched lingers, as if unseen entities move just beyond the edge of vision. Campers have told of tents shaken by invisible hands and whispers carried on the wind. The voices are never clear, more like fragments of speech, fleeting and haunting. Some describe feeling a sudden pressure in the air, a tangible presence brushing past, leaving goosebumps and an unshakable awareness of being surrounded. These experiences are most common near the lake's shore, where the darkness of the water meets the shadowed woods. Boaters on Moose Lake at night report unusual occurrences as well. Lights on the water sometimes flicker or appear where no boat exists. Ripples form in still water, as if someone unseen is moving just below the surface. Compasses and electronic devices occasionally malfunction, leaving a sense of disorientation and unease. Those who have stayed on the water after dusk often describe a strange feeling of time slowing, as if the lake itself is holding them within its boundaries. The forest trails around Moose Lake add to its eerie reputation. Trees grow thick and close together, creating natural corridors where shadows seem to shift and twist unnaturally. Hikers have recounted seeing dark shapes darting between trunks, moving in ways no living creature could. Occasionally, a faint, cold breeze drifts through, carrying the scent of pine mixed with something indefinably old, like the forest remembers its past inhabitants. Some encounters are more personal. Visitors report feeling an unseen presence walking alongside them, keeping pace without sound. Others hear footsteps approaching from behind, only to stop abruptly as they turn. Dogs and other animals sometimes react as well, barking or growling at empty air, ears perked and eyes fixed on invisible figures. These subtle signs reinforce the belief that Moose Lake is more than just a forest and a body of water. It is a place where the past and present coexist in uneasy harmony. Nighttime on the lake can be mesmerizing, yet unsettling. Fog sometimes rises from the water, drifting across the surface and into the trees, giving the forest a dreamlike quality. Within this fog, glimpses of figures have been reported. Hunters in old attire, campers with lanterns still glowing. And shadowy forms moving silently, their faces indistinct yet undeniably human. These apparitions vanish when approached, leaving only disturbed leaves and ripples on the water as evidence of their passage. The history of Moose Lake contributes to its mystique. Records of lost travelers, hunting accidents, and unexpected drownings form a backdrop to the current experiences. Generations of families have recounted stories of missing people, spectral sightings, and strange occurrences. Each report adds layers to the legend, reinforcing the Lakia's reputation as a place where the boundary between life and afterlife is thin. And the forest remembers every misstep and tragedy. Locals warn visitors to respect the woods after dark. The eerie stillness, the shifting shadows, and the sounds that appear from nowhere are not mere coincidence. They speak of a presence that watches, guides, or warns, a connection between the living and those who were lost long ago. The lake itself seems to hold these spirits, a reflective surface that mirrors the past and keeps the memory of every lost camper and hunter alive. Even those who come for recreation may feel the Lakia's influence. A simple walk along the shore can turn tense as eyes seem to follow. Or the sound of a distant footstep makes the heart quicken. Boaters may find themselves surrounded by unnatural silence. Or fog rolling in too quickly to be explained. Campfires flicker without wind. Shadows lengthen where they should not. And a low murmur seems to rise from the forest floor, reminding visitors that Moose Lake is a place of stories that cannot be ignored. Despite its beauty, Moose Lake demands awareness. It is a place where the past is present, where the forest holds on to memories of those who vanished. And where visitors may glimpse echoes of lives long gone. The legends of glowing eyes, phantom footsteps, and whispering winds are not just tales. They are experiences repeated across decades, forming a tapestry of mystery and the supernatural. Those who leave the lake in daylight often do so with stories to tell, while those who linger after dark carry memories that linger long after returning home. Moose Lake is more than a recreational spot. It is a forest alive with history. A body of water reflecting more than the sky. And a landscape where the past and the unseen coexist. Every shadow, every ripple, every whisper is a reminder that some places retain the essence of those who once walked among us. And that the forest and lake will keep watching, patient and eternal. Moose Lake continues to attract those seeking solitude, beauty, and adventure. Yet beneath its serene surface lies a world that is invisible, alive with spirits, memories, and echoes of the lost. Nightfall transforms it completely, as lost hunters and campers return in fleeting glimpses, reminding all who venture near. Reminding all who venture near that the forest holds secrets that the living cannot fully comprehend, and that some presences are patient, waiting silently for the next observer to cross into their domain. Minnesota's lakes are more than places of beauty, they are silent witnesses to tragedies, legends, and lingering spirits. Each lake carries a story, some whispered by locals, others experienced firsthand by the brave who dare to visit after dark. As you reflect on these haunted waters, remember that sometimes what lies beneath is more terrifying than what you can see above. Which of these lakes would you dare to visit alone at night? Share your thoughts and any ghostly encounters in the comments, because your story could be the next chapter in Minnesota's haunted lore. Thank you for joining me on this chilling journey. Until next time, stay curious. Stay brave. And remember that the night may hold more than just darkness.